Hello and good morning, everyone. You can say hi or wave, maybe wave.
Good morning.
So does anybody have a handmade mug that they want to share with us today for our coffee in a cup? Nobody's
My
brought one? Well, I
Italian.
did.
This is my Italian mug.
I'll tell you all a story about mine. This is the power of handmade cups. I bought this probably at a Peters Valley Craft Fair a few years ago, but Jeff Kleckner, he's one of the artists that regularly did our show, and he passed away this past winter, and I have two of his mugs. My boyfriend and I actually each bought them for each other's gifts when we lived separately, and now we live together, so we both get to enjoy them. But you know, every time I drink out of this cup, I'm reminded of him, and it really makes you feel that special connection. That's why we buy handmade. You know, we meet the artists, we have that connection, we have this object that we know that they put love and care and attention into, and so it's really profound, I think, to drink and use handmade items and wear handmade clothes and jewelry and everything and just have it a part of your life. So I am a testament to that, but that's my plug on buying handmade. So cheers,
Nice.
Jeff and everyone.
Yeah, great. So I thought I would start by talking about my love of textiles. I don't know if you all know my work or not, but basically from a young age, I was very interested in textiles. My mother was constantly like hiring decorators and kind of including me in the process of choosing things. Like she would have a designer come over, and after the designer was there, we would discuss what happened, you know, what she said and what we liked and what we didn't like, and then we would rearrange the furniture. So from age 10, I started kind of decorating the house. Well, helping to decorate the house or having some authority with it. But another thing is my mother had this amazing collage that was always in our living room by an artist named Varda. I don't know if anyone's familiar with him, but he lived in San Francisco on a houseboat. He was very wild, kind of Greek artist, and he taught at San Francisco Art Institute. And I grew up with this thing, and I'm quite sure that just looking at all the textures from a very young age, that it really kind of focused my artistic trajectory in a sense. And I now own that piece. I really love it. But then in elementary school, I took sewing. You know, these are the old days when, you know, we had sewing in elementary school. And I'll never forget, I made this dress out of burlap, olive green burlap. And it had pink yarn as, you know, like just around the edges. And my mother allowed me to wear it to my elementary school graduation, which, you know, was outrageous because I think the thing was a little strange looking. Then when in high school, I grew up in Southern California, and my mother took me fabric shopping, and I bought all this like corduroys and velvets and stuff like that, and I started making my own clothes by hand, like just cutting it out and sewing it and wearing this stuff to high school. And literally, when I would be walking down the street, this skirt that I had made with rust-colored corduroy would be literally falling off of me while I was wearing it because the stitches were like, you know, like an inch apart. But I still didn't give up on textiles. You know, I just had this love for it. Then one day I was sewing on the machine at home, and the needle went through this finger all the way to the other side, this big thick needle. And I ran upstairs screaming, downstairs screaming, upstairs screaming, downstairs screaming, back upstairs. I realized I was home by myself. I was 17 at the time, I think. And I looked at this giant needle in my finger and I said, no one is hearing me screaming. No one is coming to my rescue here. I went and I got some Bactine and Band-Aids. I pulled this thing out of my finger and said to myself, Robin, I don't really think you have the temperament for this. But I still didn't give up on textiles. So then I moved to New York to go to School of Visual Arts as a painter and sculptor. And I was doing very textural stuff, and I had some amazing, amazing teachers there. This was in the early 1970s. And one of the teachers was, I don't know if anyone knows or has heard of Hannah Wilkie, but at the time, she was my sculpture teacher. She was very well known at the time. She showed, not at Castelli, but I think, a similar kind of gallery in New York City. And she was dating at the time Klaus Oldenburg. And she introduced me to Klaus Oldenburg. I went to his studio and she showed him my work at the time, which was political sculptures. I was working with Wonder Bread and toy soldiers, like these little political sculptures, like one of the highlights of my life. And then, so during art school, what I noticed is that a lot of my teachers at that time were very, they were all in their 40s and 50s, very, very well known, but they also had kind of, for lack of a better way of saying it, most of them had kind of a immature way of being in the world. And I really had a strong feeling that if I kept doing artwork, I would not mature and grow up myself. And so I started looking for ways that I could apply my artistic talents that would be more practical, because after many years of studying art, and I had, piles and piles, I'm sure as everyone has, of drawings and paintings and, think, well, like, where do you put it? So I started really feeling very, very strongly about, what's practical. So at that point, I trained with someone and became an interior designer. And I worked as his apprentice or assistant, or I guess, what's the right word? Intern, yeah. Intern for a couple of years, and then started getting a lot of my own clients. And then I started teaching a class at the Open Center in New York City called How to Create a Home for Your Heart. And I taught there for about 6 years. And then I was approached by first one person who, publishes books, and then various different publishers. And there was an auction. And 5 years later, this book was born, and it was published by Penguin, and there was an auction. And, it was a big deal for me because I had been so only visually oriented. And then, writing, I'm sure many of you are writers who are listening, it's a whole different kind of medium. And it took me a while to kind of like switch into that other medium. So, so let's see. So interior design, I did that in New York City for about 35 years. And actually then when the book came out, I was thinking, well, I'm in New York City, and what about all the other people all over the country? Because this book was like everywhere, like in one day, all the states, etc. I'm thinking, well, maybe I should, design some things that I could sell to people who are in different parts of the country. So I started designing what I thought were going to be furniture throws. And I made, you know, maybe 10 or 15 of them. And everyone wanted to, they didn't want it on their furniture. They wanted to wear them. And that was how the whole accessory business was born, you know. And so it's kind of like, it's all been very, very organic in a sense. And one thing has led to another, has led to another, has led to another. At that time, I started having my own clothing made just for myself because I wanted things other than just black. And people would see things and say, oh, can I have one? Or I started designing a handbag just for myself. And someone saw it and said, oh, I can sell that. Why don't you make me 5 of them? And everything has been that kind of organic sort of voyage, for lack of a better way of saying it. So in terms of the practicality, I still feel so strongly about it. I mean, especially now. I mean, art is so important, but for me, applied art, or art that you can wear, art that you can, that is just part of your life in some integral way. I don't know, it's a big issue for me. I mean, not an issue, it's just something I really believe that we should incorporate into our lives. So then actually, I think at this point we should probably maybe start showing some stuff. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
Somebody wants to know where you're from in California.
I actually grew up in Southern California. Yeah, in the West LA area. And actually, I actually grew up in Beverly Hills. Yeah.
The Barbara Jones who asked is from La Canada, California, near Pasadena.
Near where?
Near Pasadena.
Oh yeah, not far. Yeah.
And if anybody has questions, you can type them in the chat, or you can use the raise hand, and we'll try to see you, and then we can call on you.
Yeah. Now the other thing I should say, we have a store here in Newton. We've had it now for about 13 years, and I work with a lot of different artists. I employ, I'd say, about 10 different people, upholsterers, different kinds of seamstresses, and all of the people, or most of the people who sew for me or make things for me, are either seniors, or they're disabled in some way, they're in wheelchairs, they don't speak English, and they're primarily people who would not have be able to work in any other way. So that's something that started happening once again on its own, but once we kind of realized what was happening, now we encourage that. So
Hope is asking what store. So Robin has a boutique in Newton, New Jersey, where she sells her work. Do you want to explain any more details about where it is, or when people can come visit?
Sure.
What they'll find there?
Yeah, sure. We're in Newton, New Jersey, which is a little tiny historic town. And we're right on the main street, which is called Spring Street. And it's 205 Spring Street. And my phone number for anyone who would like it is 646-645-1003. And the other thing I should really say that has come up recently that I feel strongly about is I'm wanting to begin giving lectures on inspiration, on what inspires people, what the difference between art and craft is, and just having a lot of conversations about that, and eventually to have a center for this. So I'm, if anyone is interested in the subject, I know a lot of my experience having a store is that a lot of people come in and talk about how they're not able to express themselves, and they're not sure what medium to use, etc. So it's something that I would love to start doing soon. So Sam, maybe now we could start. No, and also where I'm sitting is where I work, and I was working with someone a number of years ago, and she would talk a lot about how I would create a nest for myself. So we're going to show you the nest first of all. Can you see the nest? Maybe Sam.
We can spotlight Sam if we want. Let me remove the spotlight here. And can you all see Sam? Sam's.
Well, you're seeing the camera.
You're seeing the. Oh.
Yeah, you're spotlighted, Sam, so we can see Robin in her space.
So I have fabric on both sides. I have trims and feathers all around here. And I'm constantly trying to kind of clean this up and, but it never actually really happens because I'm constantly working on something else. Then I just make a mess again. So it's just sort of part of the whole thing. Can you, yeah, he's scanning everything. Right. Now wait, stop where you are, Sam, right there. Wait, stop. On top that's a whole bunch of vintage fabrics, bark cloth. I have probably 100 yards of bark cloth.
Talking about up there.
Yeah, there. Which I'm starting to use on aprons and that sort of thing.
So are these remnants that you?
Well, you know what? I don't consider anything a remnant because to me that means leftover. A little tiny piece like this big, if I can figure out a way to use it. I mean, some things I have, maybe 5-6 yards of. And so to me, a remnant is something less than now he's showing you all vinyls that I have there. Now this is a piece, stop right there, Sam. This is a piece that I did in elementary school when I was 7 years old. And it won lots and lots of awards. It was really a self-portrait. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Karen in the chat says, you must love mid-century modern with the starburst and the bark cloth.
I do.
Maybe,
well, I have some.
It's hard to get samples. We don't have to, but.
No, I have some right here. I was starting to recolor, which had faded.
So hold on, let me make you the spotlight,
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah. Now I'm going to show you the other side to show you how much it's faded. And so what I'm going to do is I started going in with an emerald green, a dark green felt tip pen, permanent, and just filling in the green so it has a fresher look so I can use it.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's, yeah. And so Sam, let's go maybe over now here to.
Let's see.
Now you probably won't be able to hear me if I'm wandering around, right?
We can still hear you.
You can? Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, it's not quite as loud, but we can hear you.
The other thing I've started doing is making really, really fun masks. And because I have a lot of like vintage fabrics and cottons and stuff, I'm really making these amazing, like this was a 1950s dress that I cut up. Yeah. And then putting some of the trims on some of the masks.
I love those. Robin showed me one earlier before everybody was on, and it was like cat whiskers. It was great. Those are so fun.
I mean, if we're doing this, let's just have some fun doing it. I think that's the other thing is I feel very strongly about just having fun with life in general in whatever way. But let me show you some of the aprons I've been making lately.
Better off like the other way.
Oh.
I'm gonna move.
Like this is vintage, the bark cloth on the bottom. And what I've been doing, I go to thrift stores a lot and buy like
It's a little hard to hear you, Robin.
I'll come back here. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is bark cloth on the bottom, and the top is, you know, tablecloths that I've bought and just cut up to you know, from thrift stores. So, you know, really repurposing everything. So
And Robin, where you're standing, those are, I don't know if you call them like a poof or an ottoman, but
yeah,
you
yeah, we
sell
make
those
these.
too,
Yeah,
right?
we make these too. These are, we call them poufs. They're super comfortable, and we can make them in all kinds of fabrics. You know, custom for whatever room. And they're great because especially if you don't have a large space and you're having a party, you know, having people over, which will eventually happen again. You know, it's a great way to have some extra seating without having ugly chairs in the room.
Robin, somebody's asked what bark cloth is. Can you show us a sample of that, please?
Yeah. Bark cloth is, okay, bark cloth is fabric that was used mostly as draperies and slipcovers in the 1930s to the 1950s. And it has kind of a pebbly texture to it. So, and that's why it's called bark cloth. And there's a very distinctive look to it. I'll pull some out and show you. You'll recognize it once you see it. You know, or even if you look at old movies and that sort of thing. Yeah, old movies and stuff. Is this recognizable?
I think so. It's not crystal clear, but I think.
Yeah. Oh, on that bag, Sam, on the black bag. I use it on bags a lot. The third one over.
Give me a second to get that.
Yeah. I'll stay here and talk to so you can hear me.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's bark cloth. And I'll use it on bags a lot. It's very distinctive. It has a very retro kind of feeling.
Yes, now I know exactly what it is.
You
now.
see,
But
yeah,
hopefully all our viewers do too.
Yeah, you can even see the texture on there, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So Olivia's asked, what's your favorite thing you've designed?
Oh, wow. God. You know, I don't think I have a favorite because I don't really want to get too attached. I remember early on when I first started making, actually like the scarf that I'm wearing. Well, Sam, come back over here. Like early on, I started making these scarves with feathers on them. Can you see? Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to go and sit back down. And I made about maybe 20 of them or so, 25, 30. And I loved them all. And there was an intern who was coming over who was going to take them to showrooms, you know, to sell them. And what was happening was he had this suitcase that he was loading up, and I started taking them out, you know, sort of cherry picking. That, you know, I wanted to keep this one, I want to keep that one, I want to keep this one. And I had an assistant at the time, and she was kind of looking, had this funny look on her face, and she finally kind of said to me, I mean, do you want to sell them or not? And at that point, I kind of needed to come to terms with, do I want all of these things for myself, or am I willing to let go of them? And ever since then, I mean, I'll take whatever I want that I design, but being attached to things I'm designing is you know, I kind of, it's like just letting it go. So I don't know that I have a favorite thing. I really don't. I mean, right now, I've been making aprons with this fabric, which I really, really love. It's a cotton and toot fabric that I happened to find in Patterson a few months ago, and I've been making some amazing aprons with it. So I love what I'm doing at the time, but it's my favorite right now. But as soon as it's finished, like a lot of times when I design a bag, like right after, I'll forget what I even made, you know, and then I'm just on to the next thing. So I hope that answers your question. Maybe.
I think, Robin, also this idea, I know, like, thinking about what you're saying and thinking about myself as a maker, the same idea, like, there's something about when you're making it that you're like excited about it, and so you want to share that excitement and you want to get it out. And so it's not so much that you have this attachment, more like you want other people to be as excited about it as you are, and then you're already on to that next thing, like you said, about you're excited about making this other one to then share with people. And so
yeah, exactly. Well, Deborah just got here, so I'm going to put my mask on. Hi.
we're gonna have I think a fashion show.
This is exactly the same fabric that's on here, my mask. Now, Deborah, why don't you choose a mask that would go with your outfit?
Oh, well, I don't know what I'm going to be trying on.
Yeah, well, let's start with just the coat. Yeah, that looks good. So Deborah Meltz just got here, and she has been purchasing stuff from me for ever since we've been in this area, probably 14 years, I think, right?
I don't know. Seems like forever.
About 14 years. And she was one of my very first customers up here. We did a show at, Sam, what was that place called? The Project Self-Sufficiency.
Yes.
Right.
Rhoda Cider turned me on. To
Right.
it.
Was
She had that big flower.
right.
Fabric flower, which I bought and still wear.
So turn around, Sam.
We can't. Before Olivia's also asked where you get your fabric from.
I have bought fabric all over the world. I've was in South Africa 2 years ago, and I brought fabric back from there. And you look amazing.
So Deb, your spotlight now. So yes, show Sam your.
I love the fact that I
Get
can
up there.
hide all my wrinkles.
I know. Aren't they great?
They are.
So here's an example. Like, I love this mask, but I don't need to keep it for myself. So that's the thing. Like, I'm enjoying just the way it's looking on Deborah right now. So that's, you know, so it's for other people, I guess, the design.
Am I going to be trying on things?
Yes.
Okay, because I brought you a blank canvas.
Blank canvas. Okay. Now wait, keep the coat on for a second because I want to show people. And so this is a coat.
Deb, is that your coat?
Yes, it is.
From home?
It is my coat.
This is Deborah's coat, which she got here last year, and
it stops traffic.
Turn around so everyone can see, right?
So Robin, Lucinda's asked, do you have a large work table?
No, this is it. I do not.
You were saying, so you have about 10 different people that help you make the work. Are they making it in that space or in their own space?
No, they all sew in their own homes, and I guarantee they have a big work table, all of them. And I really, really believe in quality. And so all the people who sew for me are really, really good at what they do. You know,
I have many of Robin's pieces.
Yeah.
I have a whole closet
this
just
way.
devoted to her scarves.
Can you hear?
Seriously. I hang them over the rail, the bar.
So come this way, because I don't. Could you hear what
your
Deborah was?
spotlight? We've got a spotlight on Sam's.
Yeah.
We're here.
Could you hear what you just said?
Repeat it in case anybody didn't hear.
I said, I have an entire closet dedicated to Robin's scarf. You know, I just hang them over the rod, and that way they stay safe, and I can just pull down what I need.
Awesome.
And how many do you have?
You know what? I think I must have 70 or 80. I can't resist them. And you know what? Feathers, when you wear feathers, they make everyone that sees you smile. You walk down the street in New York and people just look at you and grin. It's a great conversation starter too.
Okay.
Well, and I like how that scarf, it's like a shorter scarf so you can really see the feathers.
Yeah.
Oh, I have ones that are incredible. This one is just, oh, I'm going to choke myself now. This one is just, it's just a lovely, it's a simple fabric.
In a
Yes.
sense, it's kind of a neck piece.
Yes, I often wear it instead of, don't tell anyone, instead of a necklace. Because I have so many necklaces.
Right, right.
So it looks like you had wrapped it around twice, right, to keep it at that.
I had wrapped it around once, twice, and then I think I tied it like this and
Yes.
pulled it through the top one so it stays nice and fluffy.
That's one of the most important things is all the ways to wear a scarf, right?
Well, there's so many different
I
ways.
don't know if you can see, I'm wearing one of Robin's
We'll leave it.
shawls, and I've just pinned it at the top, and it just, you can see all the colors and the fabrics, and I love
I
it.
bought a slew of scarf clips so that I can wear them on my shoulder and as shawls. And sometimes on the wider ones, all you need in the summer is that little bit of protection. And why shouldn't you look fabulous when you're doing that?
By the way, we started making magnet closures that are right on that little metal thing right there. If
Go
you go
back.
that way,
Further back.
keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh,
Yeah, right there. Now these are some new pieces that we years ago I did a show. I don't know if anyone up here remembers Spring Fest. It was the very first time I did it, and I had made these little arrangements with and glued buttons around the edges of the pots. And the very first day, the master gardeners came in, and there was a wonderful woman named Claverty who looked at it and said, I have the vintage buttons. Do you want them? It was like, duh. And so a couple of weeks after the show, I contacted her and went and got them. And 2 carloads later, we had buttons from the 1920s to the early 1960s.
I think I gave you some buttons too.
Yeah,
once.
yeah. And so we've been working, trying to figure out what to do with them ever
Make
since.
buttonholes.
And the closures are one of the things. So, Deborah, why don't you take this scarf actually and just put it over what you're wearing, like one layer, yeah, and then.
I was thinking of putting on a necklace.
So, Robin, for everyone that tuned in last week and saw Ricky of Luna Park, you're like the Ricky of fabrics and buttons and all that, right? Just all those collections and loving, you know, like loving that history in them, you know, your old fabrics, the vintage buttons, and giving them that new life.
Yeah, these are some pussycat masks that we've been making.
It's upside down.
Oh, sorry.
You sure?
And this is a woman who's a Francophile asked me to make her this French-looking mask, Parisian-looking mask. And I'm going to pick some stuff out for Deborah now to try on.
Who is your inspiration in fashion? Someone's asked.
Oh. Wow.
Betty John.
What?
Oh. Don't listen to him.
That was 20
I'm
years ago.
thinking. I'm not sure. I think from my point of view, your inspiration is
Having a hard
feel
time
good
deciding what to wear.
that you can't have enough of.
Yeah.
Shall I take my scarf off and put on a necklace?
No, I'm looking for jackets.
Okay.
And
She's picked out a wrap to match the scarf.
Show my wrinkled neck.
they won't show.
This is the stuff.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of these.
Okay, so Sam's gonna. So this here, let me move over here so they can hear me. This is something we call a woolly wrap that Brienne, that they have over at the gallery, and a woolly wrap is 5 different pieces of fabric that I've put together to create, just tone on tone on tone texture. So you can really see the texture.
And this feels so good.
So Lucinda's asking, are all these clothes going to the store? So Robin is actually in her store, but we have a whole collection of Robin's work available on our gallery webpage, and we'll put a link to that in the chat. Most of them are actually in her shop right now because
I
we
know.
sold so
Well, that
many
color,
bars, we don't
it's
have
just
that
so
many, but we'll go ahead and put that in the chat.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say about this particular piece is the 2 pieces that are woven looking are from thrift stores that I worked into it, and the base of the scarf is a stretch cotton, so it's super, super comfortable. And like a chenille scarf that from an artist would cost, $80. I picked them up at a thrift store for, a fraction of the price, but you're still getting that luscious texture. What?
I can't hold the camera and answer the door.
We've had those woolly wraps and the collage wrap, which is what I'm wearing. It's a more sheer version at the gallery for a few years, and they are such a good seller, and they make perfect gifts, and they're just really popular. So
This is amazingly comfortable. It's really good. May have to buy it.
Oh, geez, I don't know. We may have to give it.
Oh, that's good too.
that color looks fabulous on you.
I love. And you know what these are also great for? If you're wearing just a lightweight jacket and you just need that little tiny extra, you can just put on a scarf or one of these scarves or one of these, and they give you just what you need. Oh, you want me to change my mask?
Yeah.
But now I've,
It's okay.
Just put it in a pile.
poisoned this
We'll
one.
take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so here's a matching mask. Oops, hear me. Here's a matching mask with this woolly wrap, just so you can get the sense. And I like mixing different reds together. That whole thing about reds clashing if they're not the same. I love clashing reds together. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, so you can
Well,
see
I think it works, Robin, because you've got that like little bit of the bright red in that
right.
the fabrics, and then
Yeah.
so it just all works.
But because I was a painter for a lot of my life, like that's the way I like to play with color.
Yeah.
The way a lot of designers.
Well, I don't know
Perhaps
if
would
anyone noticed,
Mhm.
but this coat,
Yeah.
the pockets are not the same color as the coat.
Yeah.
They're a hot pinky color.
See, Deborah is such an amazing customer because because she's an artist herself. I could come up with these ideas, and she'll love it rather than think it's like crazy.
I like crazy.
Now I'm going to have her try on this one of these aprons now.
I have a question from Facebook Live for you, Robin.
Yep.
Barbara is wondering if someone has fabric and buttons and trim that they love, are you up for a design challenge to make a piece?
Absolutely.
Yes, you've done that for me.
Yeah. I do that all the time for people.
Is there a way that she would be able to contact you? Would you like her to do that through your personal website?
No, it doesn't have to be. She can just call me or text me or, send an email. 646-645-9444. 1003.
When I was a kid, all the outdoor furniture was upholstered in things like this.
Artwear.
Yeah, and it was if you went to a warm climate, they had.
Yes, Hope, she has a website. We'll put a link in the chat, but it's just robinlennon.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially if she lives locally, it's easier, but I can do it long distance too. Now here. Okay, so once again, these are different patterns, but because the colors are similar, here, step back a little so we can see. You know, it works. Oh God, it looks great.
Yeah, it totally works.
Right?
I have a bunch of Robin's aprons too. Actually, I'm giving them as Christmas gifts this year
Yeah.
because I forgot last year.
So another
Up to
couple
you.
of friends have come, so I'm gonna put some clothes on them and they're gonna wander around.
And I love what Robin said about, you know, like that idea of being a painter and how that influences. Because I totally see that. I actually have a degree in painting and I do mixed media jewelry and wall pieces. And it's that same idea of like mixing, and it's like the textures and the marks and the colors and the patterns. And I really see that come through in your work,
Yeah.
Robin. I really love that.
Yes.
Where are we going, Robin?
Get myself in this mess. Isn't that great?
Sounds like she's got some more friends.
Oh, what it is.
It's like the feathers, right?
Yeah. I can wear it to the studio and they'll all laugh.
I know.
People they'll can love it. laugh
where we go.
Yeah.
It looks great.
I know. I get them as gifts from my friends, except my friends aren't quite as brave as I am. Having done that before.
But it's just a mask. I
This is
mean,
Jennifer.
really.
This is Deborah. Hi. Nice to meet you. Okay, just come this way. Here. Take the mask off.
Yeah.
Safe?
Yeah.
Should I take my shoes off and put boots off?
No, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. They're not gonna see that. Okay, so this is my friend Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Back, no, back right up to there.
Yeah, and this is
a light
a
one.
long kimono, and she actually owns this piece.
I do.
Yeah, this is a great piece for like Florida if you're going away over a bathing suit, whatever. And you can actually tie the front.
So Nikki says, I recently had 2 chairs recovered by Robin's shop. She picked 5 different fabrics that went very well together.
That's
I
right.
had a piece that you reupholstered too.
I
It was
know.
great.
Yeah,
And you
then
picked the fabric.
see, and then you can kind of throw this over one shoulder, and it becomes a much more dressy kind of piece. The other thing that these kimonos are great for, I've done a lot of Mother of the Bride, so it can be, you know, in a little dressier fabrics, you know, a kind of a really great look, casual but elegant at the same time. Yeah, no, we're good. So Jennifer, why don't you just go and find something else to put on? I know, isn't that great?
I love that you can get so many looks out of that piece.
Yeah, and I also make that in a shorter version for someone who is not so tall. And this is our other friend, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
I'm here. Hold on. So I also make the kimonos for men. You know, more earthy fabrics like this, what he's trying on now is linen. And Sam has about 3 or 4 kimonos, and every time he goes out with them, you know, it's like a head turner. So you would think it would be, you know, maybe too much for a man, but if the fabrics are not fussy, it can really work. Here, pull the back down. Hold on, let me pull it back down. Here, turn around.
Looks great.
So can you see that?
Yeah, I love the texture on that fabric.
Yeah, this is some linen that I recently bought, and I think it's just
that's
so
beautiful.
luscious. Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I like these things that she also makes, these closures.
Yeah.
Robin, Olivia is asking, what inspires you to design on a daily?
On a daily.
I should buy this, yeah.
I think about what I need in the shop and what I'm short on, if anything. And sometimes, like when I'm making bags, I'll make one kind of conservative one that I know that everyone would like. And then I'll make a super crazy one after that. So it really varies. Like if like right now, I'm totally into the aprons. So I'll just push them out until I have at least 20 or 30 of them. Right now I have them at maybe 15, 17. But I'm going to keep going because especially there's some that we have that are for children. Oh, I'll show you those. They're so cute.
Or grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I should buy this. It's really beautiful.
This is a,
Oh, is that adorable?
I know, it's cute or what?
Oh,
This is a little tiny
Here,
apron.
Robin, here.
Can you see? Oh,
What age child would that fit?
well, I don't know about that, but I
I would
can
say
make it any
3
size.
up.
3?
Yeah, I would need like a 6, 7 years.
Yeah, I have
6
a
years
bigger
old.
one too.
No, I
So
mean
you can
3
see it?
up. Yep. Probably
Yeah.
6-year-old would fit.
I don't know. She's kind of big.
Yeah, I
Like
can
that,
make this
just
bigger. Yeah.
tall.
We can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So I don't think there's any, it's really my mood that day. You know, what I'm there. I don't know that I really have I don't know that there's a way that, I think in general, I would say that like right now I'm into aprons and I'll make a lot of aprons until it's sort of out of my system. I think that maybe that's the best way.
I think one might say that you let the fabric tell you what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. If sometimes you were just like, oh, I really want to work with this fabric right now, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna figure out what to make and what to pair it with, and
Well, I think that's a whole nother subject which I haven't talked about. And or talk to me, but it's almost
we're getting feedback from your two.
Yeah, switch that.
You want me to
Switch that.
spotlight Robin?
Yep.
Okay.
so I think what happens with me is that when I'll come into the shop, I really let my intuition guide me. And that's probably the biggest way that I work more than anything else. I mean, the fabric is a part of it, but it's really, you know, almost like a strong intuition that I follow on, like, not occasionally, but daily. So that would probably be the biggest part. Now here's Sam, here, take a look what Jennifer's wearing. This is a shorter jacket we've been making lately.
All right, wait, hold on. Let me spotlight.
Yeah.
Oh, I can spotlight two people. Wait.
Good.
Oh, we lost you, Robin, but we'll get you back.
It's okay.
Oh, good.
So this is a shorter, closer to the body jacket that smaller people like. And turn around, Jennifer. All the way around. There you go. Yeah. Try another one of those.
We had that one or one similar, I think, in the collection in the gallery.
And Deborah now has on a long kimono. And in general, she tends to love drama.
Yes.
And this one has some drama going on. I think it's just great. So this is, once again, the kind of thing you could wear once again everything starts, like to a wedding.
Yes.
You could also wear it on the beach, just overall black. You can wear it, you know,
All white.
and so they really tend to be very, very
Versatile.
versatile, right? Yeah, Yeah, Deborah always goes for the bright colors.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, she was going to a wedding
Oh, I should have brought that dress.
and she wanted a dress, me to make her a dress that would really stand out. And we used this pink fabric, bright pink fabric, and it had feathers on the bottom
The bottom, it had
The
feathers on
bottom.
the bottom, and a
Bottom.
shawl
and a
that had
shawl,
feathers on the end, and it was a bright pink floral.
right?
And I floated in.
And one of the directives, she said she wanted it to be loud.
But I didn't say loud. I
You
said I
did.
want, when I walk in, I want people to say, "Oh my God, which side is she on?" Here, put this on.
But I think also, Robin, you keep talking about, when we go back to our lives, but like I'm wearing this wrap and it looks great on Zoom. And I think for people that Zoom a lot right now, having that fun color and those fabrics is actually, your work really lends itself to Zoom.
It's longer.
Yeah,
I know.
And I keep
My
hearing
shirt is
probably,
but
This is stunning.
and I'll see this.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that I feel strongly about, years ago when I was teaching at the Open Center, and I would talk about clothing before I was designing clothing. At that time, I started designing for myself, like things to wear at home. I was newly single in between marriages, and I started designing for myself a whole line of home lingerie in a way. And I think that a lot of the things that, we have here now, the kimonos, have really come out of that. And I think especially now, being that we can't really go out much, to wear things at home that make us feel good, that we like, that, are sensuous for us. I think it's really very important.
Look at this.
I know, it's great.
Have you shown this yet?
They're showing your handbags.
Yeah, Deborah just found it great.
On
Oh,
another-
wow.
It's a great color,
It's a
that
dress with a coat.
dress with a coat. Yeah.
And I mean, it's perfect. You can wear it anywhere.
Yeah,
I've actually worn that
home, too.
feathered dress 4 times. Only once to a wedding.
Sure to get that.
yeah.
And
So this has a really
lovely
interesting texture.
inline dress.
And now that, because it's all the same fabric, would really accessorize nicely with like a scarf or a wrap with it.
Typical flare.
And here's Jennifer in that same shaped jacket with like a vintage hat on. The other thing I did this summer, was design hats that went with masks. So that was a fun look.
It's cute.
Uh-huh. Any other questions?
No question.
Yeah, that's a great one.
One more.
And I'll just show, while they're getting situated. Hold on, let me add my spotlight. We actually only have a few wraps. We had one more yesterday, but it sold. Someone's got a question. When you walk
Yeah,
into
that's
your
great.
shop / studio, what is the first thing you think or do?
I'm sorry, say it again.
When you walk into your shop or studio, what is the first thing you think or do?
Have a cup of coffee.
Turn on the music.
Actually, turn music on. I turn music on, and one of my favorite things to have on at the shop is Spotify Cafe Africa.
No.
Get you going. Do you dance to it?
I dance at home. I don't dance here at the, sometimes I dance at the store, but it's more that I like music that has like a strong kind of ethnic, earthy quality to it. That is what I work best to. So that's the first thing I do. If I have people coming here, customers, I'll run around, fluff the store, straighten up a little, but then I'll also use different kinds of essential oils to create different ambiances, like lemon oil or sandalwood or, you know, something kind of more exotic.
That's awesome. Anybody else have questions?
Yeah.
Well, I'll show. I'm trying to figure out. We kind of lost the. I'm not sure what happened with the spotlight. Maybe I hit something weird. So I don't know.
That might be good if you went in the back and just showed the fabric. But
Oh,
the other,
yes.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Brian, what Sam is going to go in the back of the shop and show all my fabric, which is
Oh, great.
extensive. And there's a whole area where I'll kind of stay with him as I'm. So you see, we have this curtain, and then you go in the back, and all the stuff in the middle is different shears, all different shears. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hold on. And they're all color coordinated. I probably have more than 60,000 yards here. Sam, go back to, yeah, go back to, now these are all different whites and laces that he's showing right now.
That is just so fun. I just want to come and go in the back.
I know, and this is different small pieces of fabrics where he is now. Sam, go to where the wool is. Oh, this is the other part of the back. This is,
So Robin really does have enough selection for anybody that wants custom fabrics.
yeah.
You probably got exactly what you're looking for. Maybe it's even the same fabric to match what you have.
Oh God, I know, crazy, right? Now these are cottons right here. And Sam, go back to where the wool is.
I will.
Oh, okay. He's gonna go where the wool is now. These are more shears right here. Yeah, it is amazing. I agree. I
Yeah,
think it's amazing.
Fran says it looks like a New York City fabric store.
I know. Well, a lot of it came from the garment center. Now this is my wool collection and things that I use on the woolly wraps. The other thing I have is a lot of different wools on rolls. I have 3 different colors of purple, and I have enough wool to make lots of coats. So if anyone wants a coat, come on down. They're feathers that he's showing now, and these are all the different. This is the trim department, which is a little messy right now. My friend Kathleen comes on a regular basis and helps me organize, because otherwise it gets a little too chaotic. And a lot of vintage trims from the 1950s and that sort of thing.
Wow. that
So you
is-
get a sense, right?
If-
So lately I've
So
been.
we have another question, Robin.
Yeah.
If you were to give advice to any college graduates in fashion design, what inspiration would you share?
I would say, I always thought that in order for me to be in fashion, I had to be a thin person. And I would say, first of all, that's not true. There are many, many different aspects of fashion, and you can focus on lots of whatever area you're interested in, and it can be rather narrow. Actually, if that person really wants to talk to me, you know, you can just call me up and we can discuss it and, you know, I can help you figure it out. I'm at the age now, and I've been doing this long enough that I'm very open to mentoring.
Really cute, aren't they?
Does it answer the question?
I think so. Olivia asked the question. Olivia, let us know if you have any follow-up questions. Well, we're coming up. It's just a little over 12, so I don't know if anybody else has questions or if there's anything else you want to see, questions about any of the pieces that we have on the website.
69 cents.
But we're so glad you could all join us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is really fun.
And I
Well,
Oh, and we have a saying which is if you knew the style of your soul, what would that look like? Or something like that.
I love
And
that.
once again, we have copies of the book. Brianne, I should probably give you some of these, right?
Sure. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So I guess if nobody else has questions or anything else, we can leave it there. And like I said, we'll have Robin's work available in that gallery collection through the end of the holiday season. And we always have her work here anyway, when she can get it over to us. She's so busy. She always plans to come here and doesn't always make it. But we love
Wonderful gallery.
having her here. We love having her participate in our events. And go to her shop because she's got so much more there.
We have
And
a
like
bigger one.
the name of her gallery is called Robin Lennon
Uncommon Artwear,
Uncommon Artwear.
205.
205 Spring
New
Street.
Jersey. And if those of you are familiar with Peters Valley but not Newton, it's about 20 minutes east on Route 206. So usually if you're coming from like the New York or north eastern New Jersey, you'll drive past there. It's just a little turn off. So check it out. It's a lovely little town. It's the county seat of Sussex County, which is where we're all located. And yeah, wonderful. Well, I hope you'll all join us next week. We have a special woodworker, Matt Kenny. He does incredible woodworking and
Great pieces.
panel boxes and completely different than what Robin does. So we love bringing you a variety of artists, and we're looking forward to that one as well. So thank you again, Robin. It was such a treat to have you, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. So
Beautiful on you.
take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day.